What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's rock and roll. We're going to talk about futures. They open red. We'll talk about the expected move. We'll show what market makers have in store for us this week. Kind of what we're planning out. If you saw my last video, not sorry to the TikTok world, but it's on YouTube. If you saw my last one, I did compare the crashes. From 2018, 2020, 2022, and isn't it weird how there's like a pattern? But we skipped 2024. We went to 2025. We threw a little wrench in there. But anyway, looking at this is kind of what I think. This is what I'm on the lookout for. I did go short. I am in puts over the weekend. And I did highlight this right here, just talking in my chat, like, hey, what do you think could happen? Now, during this last time, this is the, what year was this? Oh, this was 2024. Now, we had gapped down, right? So red. We're kicking this week off red, but then we just brought it right back up. But what happened when we gapped it all the way down to here? I mean, this is what you saw, and then futures opened up down here. Everyone was probably thinking panic. Now, that creates a lot of liquidity for someone to buy it up long because everybody at that point is just selling everything. So the Dragon Slayer just joined. That's a cool name. I just just want to shout that out. All right. So anyway, that's the circle there. Not pointing out anything significant other than is that what we're in the mood for tomorrow. In the mood. I will say, so I'm in puts. If tomorrow we gap down, I'm gonna have to lock those puts in. We're just starting to melt down, and that could be a reversal candle. Friday, all we really did was rein it back in as far as market makers go. So let's kick it off like we normally do. Jumping in with the dollar. There's a lot going on here. We are below this weekly zone. I'm just going to delete a bunch. So we're going to focus on let's just go with weekly zones. Sorry, guys. I gotta clean this up. There's just too much. It's too busy. We're going to get rid of that. And we'll leave that one there. We're going to get rid of that speed bump zone. We'll add them in later. Now, as far as the dollar goes, last week we did just the week prior melted down. Last week was a nothing week, kind of back and forth between these two yellow zones. And as of right now, we are kind of red. The momentum could be turning around. Getting above or below these daily zones will probably tell you which way we're going. As far as the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, interesting. I wasn't short that tagged out. Man, I don't know if I want to switch gears and go long right now. I don't know if I can until it gets above that zone. I don't know if it's worth taking the short play just yet. I kind of want to. I mean, that trend is your friend. That could just be the next lower high, but a lot of people were probably thinking that right here. But we did put in a higher low, so if that gets above, that just might tell me that things might be going north. Jumping into the Bitcoin right here. Kind of awkward. Not much to talk about there. This will likely just follow suit with the market. The market's going to continue red. I think so will Bitcoin. Not a lot in here telling you it's going to switch gears and go otherwise. It probably just needs to getting above that 88 mark. We might start talking about bullish, but until then. Loaded Lions top gainers blowing away XRP. Oh, is that a meme coin? All right, looking at the S&P. All right, so last Friday, right? So we were outside the expected move last Friday, brought it right back in. That's a line I'm getting ready to point out to you guys here in a second. But all we did was get kind of below that zone and kind of test it. We might have got a little carried away. And I think all we're doing is kind of cooling off indicators, and just letting it go. And as of right now, you just got to play that trend until we were to at least break Friday's high. Here's the there's Wednesday's high. If we break Wednesday's high, we're probably going to hop up there to that zone. At which that point, futures wise, if for anyone scalping intraday, you'd had a nice little trend up, could have made a couple bucks. But meanwhile, if we're not ripping and roaring, I would look out for the next lower high right there. All right, so here's the expected move. Now, last week, the line was right here. So again, we got outside that level and just brought it right back in. As long as we stay inside here, market makers, it's an easy week for them. Hang on a second. This is... There we go. Sorry, guys, just talking nonstop. Sorry, guys. I don't care about your portfolio. If you come here and say, "Look at my portfolio," I got to get rid of you because it's just gonna. What? Do you guys hear that? That was wild. That was some crazy noise. Chase says algos are buying. What are they buying? Algos aren't probably buying at all. I heard that. Yeah, that was like TikTok calling me or something. Probably the CEO. Anyway, so watching that. As far as the S&P goes, looking at the NASDAQ, kind of all we're doing is parking it. I tried to catch the knife so many times, and maybe we finally get that rally. But until that rally does show up, that like this again. I gotta say, we're coming down with some pretty aggressiveness. And again, if you were on YouTube and you saw that last video, I did compare it. I started talking about this crash back in September, November, and I said it would be more like a 2022 crash, and we're starting to just inch our way towards like that 2020 crash moment because we're not giving it a break. No, Matt, I haven't uploaded the expected moves yet. They are on my charts, but I haven't uploaded it in the chat yet. It was the Bulls calling. Yeah, it was JP Morgan. Hey, are we buying this thing? Give me some direction here. So if you guys have my charts, if you guys ever want my charts, just check the top pin comment down below. If you're in the TikTok world, what do I say? Link in bio? Is it a link tree? I need to learn the language, but here's the expected moves for the week as far as the NASDAQ goes. It'd be pretty impressive if there was a green move up. If we were to get that green move up, then I'd probably have to go short. Sim says, "Hey, caught you live. What's up? What's happening, man?" Speaking of which, before we go on to the next situation, let's get my effects book. All right, so Monday, tomorrow, we have retail sales. Jesus, get out of here. Retail sales, nothing crazy there. Tuesday, housing starts, building permits. It would be wild if we made an excuse about this. Fed interest rate decision. So Wednesday is going to be Wednesday we have Fed interest rate, we have FOMC, we have the conference right after. So they'll never trust that first move. This is going to happen at 1 p.m. This is Central Time. And then 30 minutes later, they're going to come out and read it to you for those that can't read. But a lot of times they'll send it one way, and then 30 minutes later, it just kind of goes the other way. So be careful with that first move. Let's say it is a green reaction. You might be thinking, holy crap, this is it. Here we go. And then 30 minutes later, they're going to just send that thing south like a Delta aircraft. Remember last year, a couple years ago, it was Boeing. Yeah, now it's Delta. Existing home sales probably won't do anything Friday, Fed Williams. So it looks like all our volatility is probably going to be Wednesday. Looks like we might be going down on opening. As of right now, yeah, futures are red. So red, we'll see if the NASDAQ can hold that zone. That'd be pretty bullish if it could. Honestly, if I was really going to keep an eye out on this trend, look at this wick right here and this wick up here. We break that range. That's new highs, that's new lows, kind of short term. And it sucks because we're going to jump right into that zone. It's kind of a no-brainer. But breaking this will probably head into that top zone. This, I would look to go short. I don't know if I'd be buying this zone right here. Rachel, Scarlet Games, she says, too soon. Not really. Market has the memory of a goldfish. So, looking at the Grandpa Dow, right there in that Ukraine zone. I'd say it looks like they're a little bit oversold. Not the time to be buying, just probably not the time to be entering short. Though, if they were to have a sideways week, your EMAs catch up, your RSI is not so oversold, your indicators, they cool off, and then we kind of get that continuation south. But kind of getting carried away like that, I think we got a cool off period coming. Could just kind of pop up into that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Time to buy puts if it does pop up. So I already bought puts on Friday. And if we gap down tomorrow morning, so I'm in SPY puts. I just didn't want to hold any of the futures contracts, so I thought I'd go cheaper and buy some puts. They are for their Friday's expiration puts, the 560s. So right now we're at 562. Yeah, if we gap down in the morning, I'll have to just lock that in. Are the expected moves up to date for this week by chance? Give me one hot second. And let me click save. Yeah, there we go. So 406 to we'll call 423. We got IWM on here. We'll do IWMs. We can keep doing those expected moves. Russell looks bad. So right now I'm putting in the expected moves. So everyone that does have my charts, you guys got them. And now again, this is what market makers are pricing in, right? So if we go up, we go down, as long as we stay within this range, we're good. So if you guys are looking at my charts, yellow 4-hour daily zones, purple is weekly, but these white dashed lines are the weekly expected move by market makers opinions. So which is why, like last week, we talked about, essentially any week, but it's what we did last week. You get outside of it, you kind of take the rein it back in play. More often than not, you rein it back in. But just understand how I look at it is volatility is definitely it's alive and present. It's there. It's the time you don't want to jack around and figure things out in that time. If you do, hopefully it's a lesson you only learn once. Because I always say, like, and these are numbers I make up in my head, 80% chance we rein it back in. Again, a number I made up just kind of from my own experience. That 20% chance, it might not sound big, but when it happens, it happens quick. And if you're over allocated and you weren't paying attention, you just get ran over. The market kind of creates this vacuum, up or down, and it just does not care where you're at in that situation. Man, it's a tough one to. All right, let me get this last one up. Do I own more Tesla? I do not. AMD. All right, so actually last week I sold 95 puts and 220 puts on Tesla. So I just collected free money. Not bad. I'll probably do the same this week. If we were to get a red day and the puts get juiced up, I will sell again probably on those two. Those two are at levels that I just don't mind owning a little bit more of. And if you've been following me for a while, Meta and Tesla, I sold pretty much at the peak. Now I sold calls to get rid of those shares. And so now I'm going to sell puts. So I got paid to sell and I'm going to get paid to buy is basically what's going on. So when you hear me talk about that, like last week, I sold the 220 put, which means if Tesla were to fall below $220, I would get 100 shares per contract at 220. If it falls to 160, I still own it at 220. Now, the person gave me $800 for that put contract. So I already collected that. So essentially, my average cost would have been about $212 per share on that. But because it didn't, I collected all his money, or I got to keep it all because you collect it all at the beginning of the trade when you open that trade. So I will just keep doing that. And whether I collect just a bunch of free money or I eventually get the shares, so be it. Last but not least, Mara. What's Mara doing? What's Mara doing this week? That's the big question. We got a high of 1450. 1180s. I do like Mara. I haven't sold any puts to get back more into that, but I might just start grabbing some shares of that just in general. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, still doing a video every day. As long as the engagement is there, I'm going to keep saying it. More engagement, more videos. We're on a roll. I want to see how long I can keep this one video a day going on YouTube. TikTok, I am trying to just make shorts and put it out there. So it looks like my channel is not just inactive. Unfortunately, TikTok just does not save the live stream. So if you guys ever want, maybe you tuned in late, you can't jump over to the YouTube live stream and you can just watch the recording from the beginning. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Midship, we're hopping on Zoom. Everyone else, you want to check that out? Top pinned comment down below. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.